I just bought the dirtiest Suburban ever for $2,000. And it is just as lousy as you would assume it was for that much money. Good morning and welcome to another episode of Ugly Jeeps. Clear back in February, I think it was, I posted a short video about my latest car purchase. And I thought today I'd make a video and just show you what you get for $2,000 these days. It was a long road getting it on the road. In the middle of that, I broke my wrist, so I was down for quite a while, not able to work on it. So now I've been driving it for about the last 2 months, I'd say, and just about on a daily basis. It's been a pretty good rig, and I'll go over some of the things I've done to it and show you what you really get when you buy a $2,000 Suburban. Okay, so this right here is the 1999 Suburban. It's K1500 four-wheel drive. It has factory rear posi. It is a 5.7 liter, 350 cubic inch Vortec engine hooked to a 4L60 transmission with the auto track transfer case, which I'm not a huge fan of the auto track. I had a Yukon before that had it, and it'll do for now for what it is. I'm not really a giant fan of it. It's one of the more expensive transfer cases to service. If I was ever to actually put a lift kit on this, the lift kit is about double the price because you got to change the front drive line. And so if I ever do lift it or do anything with it, I'll probably swap out that transfer case. So this model is a LT, which means it's the luxury. It's got leather, it's got rear air, it's got rear heater. 240,000 miles, give or take, on it when I bought it. I paid $2,000 for it. Actually, for that many miles, it's in pretty good shape mechanically. They really had it serviced and took care of it. And it came from up north near Salem, Oregon, which means it didn't get beat up on the gravel roads and ran through the brush like rigs down here on the coast do. It's ran its fair share of gravel roads now. It goes out in the woods a couple times a week here lately, teaching my oldest to drive in it. And he just turned 16 the other day. So anyway, a few of the things I had to do when I got it, the carpet was just horrible. The back door was missing this seal up here. Oh, I guess that's locked still. There's a seal that goes up here at the top of the barn doors, and that was missing. So I replaced that. The thing stopped leaking. I just threw the carpet away because it was just way too bad to do anything with. I was going to change out the seats. Now that I got them cleaned and patched up a little bit, I know the driver's seat's horrible, but passenger seat's not too bad. The back seats aren't horrible. I threw out the way back seat. I plan on doing a little car camping with this thing and towing the Jeep and sleeping in the back of it. See, I've already got Jeep parts just floating around back there. Came with a pretty decent Kenwood CD player. I don't know nothing about car stereos anymore. Most of my rigs don't have stereos. But anyway, I changed all the interior door handles because they were all broken. 3 of the door actuators, the lock actuators, were shot. I had to change those. All the plastic clips in the door panels. My 10-year-old, she tried to scrub the carpets clean, but I just ended up throwing them away because they were just so bad. It looked like somebody literally spilled gallons of soda in this thing and then never cleaned it. Like the far back cup holders for the far back seat, they were just filled with soda pop. Kind of the chance you take when you get a cheap car. Would I buy it again? Yes, definitely, because it's actually in pretty good shape. Now the bad stuff. This side, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it because it's in the shade. It's got a few dings, it's got a few dents. Looks like grandma got too close to a light pole with it. Came with fairly decent tires. The one thing I haven't fixed yet, it does have a small exhaust leak, but I can't, since my hand has been, my hand is still healing. I'm not gonna lie about it. It's still kind of messed up. So doing a lot of heavy stuff like that, I can't really do. Plus I've been busy trying to get Jeeps done in the shop and just dealing with life. So one of these days I'll pull off the manifold and fix the exhaust leak. Now, you might ask, why did I choose a 25-year-old, $250,000 Suburban? Well, it was cheap. I didn't want to spend over $3,500 on one of these things. I knew there was lots of them out there and there had to be ones in pretty decent shape. Besides the interior, this one actually mechanically is pretty good, I think. Under the hood is just, small block 350. I figured if I go to Utah or drive this thing around and I break down somewhere, chances are I can get an alternator, I can get a fan belt at just about any auto parts store. I'm sure has parts in stock for this. If you need a wheel bearing or a U-joint or something, it's not going to be horrible. Sure, it only gets 15 miles a gallon and probably only about 10 or 12 when it's towing a trailer. But, it's not, I didn't pay $40,000 for it. So I can spend some money on gas and parts and stuff. I would say I'm into it about $3,500 right now. Between just giving it a tune-up, the cap and rotor, they had never been changed. I had never, ever seen some as bad as these ones were. And just unbelievable. The spark plugs hadn't been changed. The wires were still factory. The plugs may have been changed. The wires and the cap and rotor, I know they never had been. But for being from... Usually if this rig was around here very long, the whole inside of this thing would just be covered in mud, but it's not been, I don't think, very heavily off-roaded or on a lot of gravel roads. It's getting some dust on it now because we're just driving the roads a lot. So one of the things I do love about this thing is it's got the barn doors on the back. My Yukon, I used to have, it had a tailgate and I can't remember, the hatch must have lifted up. I get kind of nervous about having a hatch made out of that much glass. Anyway, this seal right here was missing. So this thing just leaked like a sieve, and I changed this. LMC had this stuff in stock. I just changed these. And so it doesn't leak anymore. Well, it hadn't in the last 2 months of winter and spring, but it might leak now. I don't know. See, I've already got Jeep stuff in it. It's kind of just, the kids just throw their stuff over the seat when we're driving. But if you fold down that center seat, you can fit a full, I think it's a full size air mattress is what I have. It's about 39 inches wide. And it fits in here pretty good. So I've slept in it a couple of nights, and I think it'll work just fine for what I want to do. I was really hoping I could remove this thing and get some more space in here. I was thinking about building kind of a sleeping platform and a place to store stuff underneath. But this is where the rear air and the rear heater are. And since they work still, I'm kind of leery about tearing it out. I think I'm gonna leave it in there for now. One of the things I don't like, this thing has a 44-gallon gas tank, which is great, but unfortunately the spare tire has nowhere to go underneath. It rides inside. And I guess that's something that they remedied in a newer model. So if you were thinking about a Suburban and you don't really want the spare tire inside, then go with something a little newer. Thing came with the trailer hitch already. It's only got a 4-pin plug, but I'm gonna rewire that. Other than that, it's been a good rig. It's been a long time since I've had a full-sized anything, a number of years, so it's taken some getting used to parking it and fitting it into spots. Definitely trying to not drive down roads that are too narrow for it. But I really haven't got it into a spot. I had it out on the beach one night with 40 pounds still in the tires, which was probably a mistake. But if you air it down to about 25, it does pretty good in the sand for being this big, boxy behemoth of a thing. I don't really have any future plans as far as building it other than to just keep making it nice. I might put some carpet or vinyl floor mats, flooring back in it since the carpet's gone. It's a little noisy in there. They do make a hidden winch mount for underneath the front. I think I'll put a winch on it at some time before I get too crazy. I just want to kind of keep it reliable and just kind of fix the things it needs and replace stuff here and there, and then eventually go on adventures towing my little Jeep all over the place as money and time allow. One thing I will warn you about if you're going to buy a 98 and newer Suburban is the ignition switch. This one was worn out. I lost the darn key like the 4th time I drove it. I just had it like in my hoodie pocket and it fell out somewhere. And so you can't get the switch out without the key being in it. And also this key, not the key, but this lock assembly has to have the right amount of ohms reading for this thing to start. So I bought an eBay set of keys and locks, just being cheap, and put it in. After I drilled the hole, I had to drill the lock out. I drilled in there with a 1/4-inch bit and then a 7/16 bit and then a 1/2-inch bit, and then just picked all of the tumblers out, and I was able to get the old key mechanism out. That took a few weeks, a little bit here and there. I just give it like 5 minutes of time, trying to not just go crazy and ruin the whole steering column. Put the new one in there I got off eBay. The thing would crank, fire, and die. Crank, fire, and die. Well, these need the right ohms reading. You can buy a resistor, I can't remember how many ohms, and clip the little security wires that are right here and stick that in there. But I went to the local Napa store where I work and I picked up a correct lock and key cylinder for $1.99, put it in, and it worked. So just something to think about if you're going to buy one of these. These are always worn out. I suggest before you lose the key, you change it, you make spare keys, because this is not a very forgiving thing to have to do. Luckily, you can take all this off and do it without pulling the steering wheel. Unlike some of the older Chevrolets where you had to pull the steering wheel, because pulling this airbag would suck if you had to pull the airbag to do it. But I watched a few YouTube videos, got out my drill, and just over the course of a couple weeks, by the time I got down to drilling the last hole and changing it, I had broken my wrist. I had to go get surgery on it. It's been a blast. But anyway, this thing starts, it runs with the keys. It was missing it was missing the door keys didn't work, or the locks were messed up. I ended up changing the door locks. I changed the outside door handles on 2 of the doors because they were broken. All of the interior handles, 3 of the door lock actuators. I don't know if you've ever tried to change a door lock actuator on anything. It was really a pain in the butt, but most of it was because the old owners of this car just did bad things. This driver's door, the handle was fine. The rod clip had broken. And so rather than getting a new clip for the rod, they bent the rod goes back through a hole and you can access it right over here. Well, they pulled the rod out, bent it, put it under the door panel, and then ran a zip tie out for you to pull to open the door, which I didn't notice. It must have been the dude who owned it before the guy I bought it from, because he just would, when he showed up to sell it to me, he had the window down and he just reached out and, you know, opened the door the other way. The whole thing was kind of sketchy. I let Steve help me look for these things on Facebook Marketplace. He's the one that found this one up in Salem and did the talking to the guy. I was actually looking at like a 99 or 2000 GMC pickup, extra cab, but it kind of had some front end damage. It was about $500 more, but I didn't know if I wanted to pick up with the canopy or if I wanted to go full Suburban, you know, because I wanted something I could tow my Jeep with, that I could camp out of. I hate pitching a tent. It's just annoying to me, especially if you're going someplace on the road and you're moving every day, setting that tent down, rolling it up, picking it up, putting it back. Like, I would much rather sleep in the back of a car. Or my last camping trip, I was going to sleep in a hammock and ended up just sleeping on the ground, because as much as I like camping and I don't mind sleeping in a tent, I hate the setting up of a tent and the taking down of the tent, the rolling up of the tent. And so just having something you can just pump up an air mattress in, leave the thing inflated back there through your hole, driving down the road, you know, you can still, with the air mattress back there, you can still have one of the seats folded up if you did have a couple of passengers. I'm sure my kids will go with me on some of these adventures I plan on going on. And my daughter, when we camped out in it last time, she had an air mattress and just slept across the front seats as before I put this console back in. And so I don't know how we'll make it work out to fit all of us, but it's, you know, that's part of the fun, is just learning how to do it. So, but anyway, that is the grand tour of my 99 Suburban. Thanks for watching. Bye.